January 9th, 2017, and I call to order this meeting of the Goose Creek CISD Board of Trustees. Before proceeding with tonight's agenda, I would like to remind everyone in the audience that this meeting is being recorded through video and audio technology. At this time, I ask that everybody silence or turn off all electrical devices. Thank you. Mr. Poppy, as second in command, was this meeting properly posted?
Yes, sir, it was.
Do we have a quorum?
Yes, sir, we do.
All right. We may proceed. Dr. Duarte.
President Richard, school board members, Mr. O'Brien. The opening exercises for the January 9th, 2017 board meeting will be presented by students from Carver Elementary School. We will begin the opening ceremonies with the prayer led by Janice Coffey. Everyone, please rise.
Lord God, what a blessing to have the opportunity to serve in a school district with so many wonderful students and parents, teachers, faculty members, staff, administrators. We just ask you to bless everyone here tonight. We thank you for everyone who is here. We ask that you guide the board members and superintendent as we make our decisions this evening, and we ask that you watch over all these people as they travel home, that you give them a safe trip home. We thank you for this opportunity to serve. We thank you for this school district. We ask that you guide us to make wise decisions, and we thank you so much for all the many, many blessings that you give us. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
The pledges will be led by Sam Johnson and Mia Martinez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one indivisible.
The following students will perform Squirm and the Spider Song from the musical Squirm. With us today we have Nevaeh Carl, Anaya Carr, Eileen Flores Herrera, Stephen Glasner, Jose Hernandez, Stephen Glazner, Jose Hernandez, Sam Johnson, Mia Martinez, Vivian Martinez, Savannah Moore, Evelyn Munguia, Brianna Rivera, and Ava Weigel. The students are under the direction of Vicki Westbrook, with teachers Christy Williamson and Pam Bradford, and Principal Bart Cobb.
What are the things that make you squirm? A snake or a bat or a mouse or a worm? We have them all here, so we'd like to confirm that today's the day we're gonna make you squirm. They said today's the day we're gonna make you squirm. Some things seem like they're too gross. You don't want to let
Thank you very much, boys and girls. That was wonderful. I'm all wormy, squirmy up here, so. Would the parents of these performers please stand and be recognized tonight? Thank you very much for bringing them out.
What's first row? So cute. What's second row?
I'm trying to figure out who they got. Well, I'm a George Washington Park.
Attendance is an important factor for our district, not only for funding from the state, but for the benefit of our students to receive instruction. Each 6 weeks, an attendance report is generated to identify the attendance percentage for every campus. Our campuses with top attendance will be recognized for the second 6 weeks of school. We had 2 top elementary campuses for the second 6 weeks. We're going to start with Stephen F. Austin Elementary School, who had an attendance percentage of 97.03. Representing Stephen F. Austin are Hannah Coker, Maddie Dotson, Brady Henriksen, Jada Menard, Jenna Rojas, Vince Rojas, and Principal Laura Smith. All of the students here with us today have had perfect attendance. So Stephen F. Austin had a 97.03. San Jacinto Elementary had a 97.02. So we are recognizing both. Representing San Jacinto Elementary School are Isabel Burmaster, Tyler Crew, Edwin Valdez. We have our interim principal, Suzanne Keith, assistant principal, Terry Coy, and counselor, Perla Olmos. Our top junior school for the first time is Baytown Junior School with 96.94%, and representing Baytown Junior School is Jada Jubbard, Diego Loredo, Jaime Ornelas, and Principal Matt Bollinger. Our top high school is Goose Creek Memorial High School with 93.45%, and representing GCM is Aaron Salinas, Dustin Feacock, Principal Susan Jackson, and Academic Dean Christy Spites. In addition, we have set attendance goals for our alternative campuses. And our alternative campus that met the district goal for the second 6 weeks is Petery Highland Center with 87.29% attendance. And representing Petery Highland are Alira Lawrence, Frank Castillo, Kayla Chavez, and Principal Michelle Verdun. congratulate these campuses and their students for their continued effort to strive for good attendance. So next, I would like to introduce Christy Leith, Director for Advanced Academics, who will recognize our Advanced Placement Scholars.
Good evening. Students take advanced placement exams in May after completing challenging college-level courses at their high schools. In 2016, over 4.5 million exams were taken by more than 2.5 million students at over 19,000 high schools. In May of 2016, a record number of GCC ISD students performed at a high enough level to earn an AP Scholar Award. Therefore, in recognition of their exceptional achievement on the college-level advanced placement exams, the College Board has named 84 AP Scholars in Goose Creek CISD. 2 of our AP Scholars earned 2 awards. According to documentation available from the past, this ties the largest number of AP Scholars on record in the district. This is a huge accomplishment. And we have many of these students here tonight. Many are actually in attending universities at this time. So we have about half who are able to come tonight, and those names are the ones that will be called out tonight. So the College Board, if I can explain this to you just a second, the College Board recognizes several levels of achievement based on the number of AP courses and exams that are taken. The levels of achievement that we will be recognizing tonight are AP Scholar, AP Scholar with Honor, AP Scholar with Distinction, AP National Scholar, and AP International Diploma. Our academic deans from each of our high schools will be introducing the students. Academic deans are Miss Christy Spites from Goose Creek Memorial. Wave, Christy. Dr. Cap Roeder from Robert E. Lee. Miss Michelle Duhan from Ross S. Sterling. And we also have our principals here tonight, which they're here in the back. We've got Miss Susan Jackson from Goose Creek Memorial, back there by the door. Mr. Nathan Chaddock from Ross S. Sterling. And also Dr. Joe Farnsworth from Robert E. Lee. I know I saw him. I'm not sure where you are, but thank you for being here. All right, students, when your name is called, we need you to come forward for an individual picture that will be taken, and then you're going to remain at the front for a group picture. Parents or guardians, as well as family members, please stand when your student's name is called. And we'll begin by announcing the level of achievement that is termed AP Scholar. During the 2015-16 school year, 49 students throughout the district qualified for the AP Scholar Award by completing 3 or more AP exams with scores of 3 or higher. And we will begin with GCM with Miss Christy Spites.
The AP Scholars from Goose Creek Memorial who are present tonight are William Ibarra. Come up here, baby. Get your picture. William is a senior and plans to attend UT at Austin, majoring in mechanical engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 5 of his exams. William is the son of Joe and Maria Ibarra. Next is Courtney Riffle. Majoring in education. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Courtney is the daughter of Matt and Tracy Riffle. Okay, let's give our GCM AP Scholars who could be with us tonight another big round of applause. Let's take a group picture. Courtney. Just you two?
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
The AP Scholars from Lee High School that are here tonight to be recognized are Jennifer Aguirre. Jennifer is attending Lamar University, majoring in biology with a minor in chemistry. She scored a 3 or higher on 5 exams and is the daughter of Diana Dominguez and Alejandro Aguirre. Next tonight is Troy Brohair. Troy is attending Texas A&M, majoring in geology. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exam and is the son of Victoria Clayton. Our next AP scholar is Miss Ariel Pratt. Ariel is attending Texas A&M, majoring in biomedical engineering. She scored a 3 or higher on 7 exams. She is the daughter of Susan and Donald Pratt. Our next AP scholar is Joshua Rice. Joshua is a senior and plans on attending Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, majoring in computer science. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Josh is the son of Deborah Rice and James Rice. Next is Rodrigo Rodriguez. Rodrigo is a senior and plans on attending University of Texas at San Antonio to major in accounting. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Rodrigo is the son of Rodrigo and Blanca Rodriguez. Our next AP scholar is Valeria Sixtos. Valeria is a senior and plans to attend the University of Houston, majoring in business. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Valeria is the daughter of Elsa and Mauro Sixtos. Let's give our Robert E. Lee AP scholars one last round of applause, and we'll take a group picture.
Okay, ready? Let's see it. I'm going to play just a little bit. Okay, good. All right. I know you got to watch those guys in the back. Are you going to do? Good. Thank you, guys. Y'all can sit. Is that right? No. Yeah. No. No. Y'all can sit. Tomorrow stay.
Y'all can just go on around to the end of the line. We have process.
Oh, okay. Okay, Beatrice Memorial, you can sit too.
Curve on around to the end of the line.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
The AP scholars from Sterling High School who are present tonight are Faisal Abunima. Faisal is a senior and plans to attend the University of Houston, majoring in business. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Faisal is the son of Moti and Samar Abunima. Our next scholar is Jonathan Guevara. Jonathan is a senior and plans to attend St. Thomas, majoring in biochemical engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Jonathan is the son of Nastali and Gloria Guevara. Michaela Hardy. Michaela is a senior and plans to attend either the University of Texas or the University of Houston, majoring in the medical field. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Michaela is the daughter of Shondalisha Manuel. Joel Herrera. Joel is a senior and plans to attend Ohio State University, majoring in political science. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Joel is the son of Cynthia Herrera and Joel Herrera. Our next scholar is Giovanni Ledette, and her mom is here. Giovanni's attending the University of Texas, majoring in journalism, and she scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Giovanni's the daughter of Joseph and Yvonne Ledette. Our next scholar is Kaylee Maddie. Kaylee's a senior and is undecided on what college to attend, but plans to major in business. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Kaylee is the daughter of Lane and Amy Maddie. Our next AP scholar is Madison McDonald. Madison is a senior and plans to attend Lee College, majoring in business. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. University of Texas, majoring in engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Caesar's the son of Caesar and Ruth Prieto. Next scholar is Alexia Reed. Alexia is a senior and plans to attend the University of Texas, majoring in nursing. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Alexia is the daughter of Rhonda Layton. Our next scholar is Angela Talent. Angela is a senior and plans on attending Baylor, majoring in secondary education. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams, and Angela is the daughter of Suzanne and David Talent. Our next scholar is Jenna Wagner. Jenna is a senior and plans to attend Texas A&M, majoring in international business. She scored a 3 or higher on 3 exams. Jenna is the daughter of Vanessa Payton. For AP scholars who are with us tonight, a big round of applause. We'll take pictures with the group.
Turn just a little bit. Everybody kind of turn toward each other. Scooting close. Scooting close. That's good. Let's scoot that way. We're going to hide Poppy. There you go. All right, good. All right, good. That's beautiful. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thanks, that's beautiful. Go one more time. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
All right, students, if you would, go ahead and proceed to the end of the line. And then at the very end, we're going to take one big picture with everyone. All right. 16 students throughout the district qualified for the next level. That's AP Scholar with Honor Award by earning an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and grades of 3 or higher on 4 or more of these exams. And I'm going to turn this over to GCM to begin with.
GCM had 4 AP Scholars with honors. 2 of those are here with us tonight. Kobe Carlson. Kobe is a senior and plans to attend University of North Texas, majoring in music performance. He scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Kobe is the son of Alan and Michelle Carlson. Next, we have Darren Trevidi. Darren is a senior and plans to attend Texas A&M, majoring in computer hardware engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Darren is the son of Robert and Harvey Jackson.
Lee High School would like to recognize our AP Scholar with honors, Madeline Poulin. Madeline is a senior and plans on attending MIT, majoring in either neuroscience or computer science. She scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Madeline is the daughter of Amanda and Robert Poulin.
The AP Scholars with honors from Sterling High School who are present tonight are Tommy De La Rosa. Tommy's a senior and is undecided of where to attend college, but plans on majoring in music and teaching. He scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Tommy's the son of Thomas and Marianne De La Rosa. Carson Hyen is a senior and plans on attending Lee College and the University of Freiburg and is undecided on her major. She scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Carson is the daughter of Susan Hyen. Annette Aranya. Annette is a senior and plans to attend the University of Houston, majoring in mechanical engineering. She scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Annette is the daughter of Dr. Clifford Aranya and Miss Margaret Aranya. Our next scholar is Presley Kilgore. Presley is attending the University of Houston, Clear Lake, majoring in English education. She scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Presley's the daughter of Julie and Billy Kilgore. Our next scholar is Xavier Oliveros. Xavier's a senior and plans to attend University of Texas, majoring in neuroscience. He scored a 3 or higher on 5 exams. Xavier's the son of Fernando Jr. and Angeline Oliveros. Our next scholar is Payman Safi. Payman's a senior and plans to attend the University of Houston or Lamar University, majoring in civil engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 5 exams. Payman is the son of Carol Safi. Gerardo Valdez. Gerardo is a senior and plans to attend Cornell University, majoring in architecture and design. He scored a 3 or higher on 4 exams. Gerardo is the son of Maria Valdez and Gerardo Valdez.
Yeah, slide in like you like it. Yes, sir. Yeah, just Sterling. Yeah. Okay. I think you guys can.
Okay, y'all go ahead and proceed to the end of the line, please. Congratulations again. All right, 19 students throughout the district qualified for the next level, which is AP Scholar with Distinction Award, by earning an average grade of at least 3.5 on all AP exams taken and grades of 3 or higher on 5 or more of these exams. Once your name is called, please remain at the front for a group picture.
The AP Scholars with Distinction from Goose Creek Memorial who are present tonight are Hector Andres Amador. Hector is a senior and is undecided on where to attend college, but plans to major in chemical engineering. He scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Hector is the son of Hector and Esther Amador. Dominic is a senior and plans to attend UT at Austin, majoring in biochemistry. He scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Dominic is the son of Kenneth and Florentina Bourbon. Sade Flavian. Sade is a senior and plans to attend UT Austin, majoring in biology. She scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Sade is the daughter of Benjamin and Sandrine Flavian. Chinmay Shashir Kulkarni. Chinmay is a senior and plans to attend University of Texas, majoring in computer science. She scored a 3 or higher on 8 exams. Chinmay is the daughter of Shashir and Kirti Kulkarni. Yukarsh Sharma. Yukarsh is a senior and plans to attend Rice University, majoring in biology. He scored a 3 or higher on 7 exams. Yukarsh is the son of Vinay Sharma and Suman Sharma.
The AP Scholar with Distinction from Lee High School tonight is Arthur Jones. Arthur is attending Lee College, majoring in pre-engineering, scored a 3 or higher on 8 exams, and is the son of Art and Ray Jones.
The AP Scholars with Distinction from Sterling High School who are present tonight are Alam Abunima. Alam is a senior and plans to attend Rice University or the University of Houston, majoring in chemical engineering. She scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Alam is the daughter of Mote and Samar Abunima. Our next scholar is Adolfo Amador. Adolfo is a senior and plans on attending Rice University, majoring in molecular biology and biochemistry. He scored a 3 or higher on 7 exams. Adolfo is the son of Yaxel Amador. Casey is a senior and plans to attend the University of Houston and major in biochemistry. She scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Her parents are Joanna Goldbaker and Phil Baker. Next scholar is Tammy Chang, and she's attending the University of Houston and is majoring in business. She scored a 3 or higher on 9 exams. Tammy's the daughter of Amy Chang. Our next scholar is Rachel Lahowitz. Rachel's a senior and plans to attend Texas Tech, majoring in microbiology. She scored a 3 or higher on 6 exams. Rachel's the daughter of Ann and Chris Lahowitz.
Let's give our AP Scholars with Distinction another round of applause. Okay, if you're a parent who's here tonight, or maybe an AP Scholar that came in a little late and we've missed you, please let us know. Anybody? All right, great. Okay, AP teachers and counselors, they dedicate many hours of their lives to these students, towards the success of those students. And some of our AP teachers and counselors may be here tonight. I saw some of them. And if you are, please stand so we can recognize you. I know I saw Kayla, I saw Kurt. And if I could, one more time, Carrie, let's get one big picture. Let's have the AP scholars up front, and while we're doing that, oh, the stairwell. Okay, change of plans. Listen just a second, though. We want to recognize the family members. If you're a family member of one of these students, please stand so we can recognize you and all the support behind the scenes. So again, congratulations, and AP Scholarship. If you'll follow that lady, she's in charge right over there with the camera.
And parents, Carrie wanted you to know that all of the pictures that she took tonight will be on the Goose Creek ISD website within a few days. And by tomorrow, and you'll be able to go and capture those pictures so you can get a very good up-close picture of your children.
Hey, congratulations. That's good.
All right, next item on our agenda, item 4, citizens participation. Ms. Garcia, do we have any participants? We have none tonight, so we'll move on to item 5, approval of minutes from the December 12th, 2016 regular board meeting.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion from Mr. Laredo, second from Ms. Coffey to approve the minutes as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. That motion carries. We are 6 present, 1 absent. Mr. Laredo, make note that Mr. Laredo did get in during the presentations at 7:33. Thank you. Okay, next, item 6, discussion item, superintendent's report. Mr. O'Brien?
Yes, we have Dr. Duarte coming this evening to present the proposed state accountability system. I just wanted to clarify for those members in the audience that this is not the school report card, but it is a proposed rendition of what it might look like a year from now. Dr. Duarte?
Sorry, it's frozen.
Zach, can you give us a hand? Or here we go. We got help.
Control-Alt-Delete.
What'd you go to?
Everybody gather around. Everybody gather around.
Time to hit that.
All this frilly stuff could get in my way.
That's not me.
It's up there. Task manager's up there.
While he's fighting with the computer, I do want to read something from Moat Casey that I think is really important that we keep in mind. We know that this all started from House Bill 2804. And one of the things that they point out is that this was required, the agency was required to report what the A through F ratings would have been for each Texas public school district and campus in domains 1 through 4 if the A through F rating system had been in place for the 15-16 school year. So I want to keep in mind we are using old data. Another point that Moat Casey had made was no inference about district or campus performance in the 2015-16 school year should be drawn from these ratings, and these ratings should not be considered predictors of future district or campus performance ratings. It's hard to communicate that to individuals, but I want to make sure we keep that in mind. They also point out that the targets that they used to determine the A through F ratings in this report are based on rating cut points determined by the commissioner for the purpose of demonstrating predictors of future district or campus performance ratings. So the whole system may look very different come the 2017-18 release. But we do know that the public has been given these scores and ratings, so it is important that we provide this information to our school board. I'm going to briefly go over the 4 domains that are being evaluated currently. There are 5 domains that will be receiving a letter grade, and the first domain is student performance. And what we know is domain 1 is student performance, which is aligned to the index system, which index 1 is also student performance. So when they talk about domain 1, for our information is how do we calculate it? So they're looking at the percentage of students who pass the test, then the percentage of students who pass the test at what we know as final level 2, and then the percentage of students that pass the test at level 3 or the advanced level. So what we provided for our campuses and principals was the actual calculation for the district. So Goose Creek has administered 37,747 tests across 3rd through end of course. Among those exams, what we know is 71.8% of our students passed the test. That would be index 1, and that's where we've met standard. They added to the domains, now how many of those 37,000 tests got the final level 2, which is 38.4%, and what percent are at the advanced standard. So when we average those 3, we have a score of 41 for our domain. So based on the targets or the cut scores that were developed for this practice run, a 41 would be considered a C. And so the grade level we receive as a district is a C for student performance. Then they provide it for alternative campuses, which would be our Petery Highland School. So you're going to see their score at 20. And then you've got our high schools, and you're going to see their targets and where each of our high schools would fall. Impact with an A. And then I provided their calculations, and then we look at our junior school. Again, the cut points or the targets change depending on if you're district, high school, middle school, or elementary. So you're going to see Baytown Junior School, Cedar Bayou, Gentry, Highlands, and Horace Mann. And then we have our elementary schools, and we group them into campuses of 5. So you've got Alamo through Bowie. We've got Carver through Harlem. And we have Highlands through Victoria Walker. And when we think about it, our target for Index 1, just looking at did you pass the test or not, is set at a 60. When we add final level 2 and we add the advanced level, what we used to know as commended, you still have a target of a 60 for an A at this point. So domain 2, just like index 2, is our student progress measure. So what they've done here is they're looking at, just like our index system, did you meet or exceed progress? how the state determined the growth that they're looking for based on your previous year's score, and then you get an additional point if you exceeded. So it's a 200-point system. Now within this domain, there are 10 categories that can be evaluated for each district and campus. They're going to look at all students. They're going to look at each race or ethnic group. They're going to look at special ed, and they're going to look at ELLs. So a diverse district or campus, a child could count 4 times. I could be an English language learner. I could receive special ed services. I might be white, and I might fall under, or I will fall under all students categories. So for our district, we're evaluated in 9 out of the 10 categories. And so we almost hit every single one. You have to have a minimum of 25 tests within each category. And so our smallest group that counts is our American Indian with 49, with our largest group being our Hispanic of 12,134. So what you're going to see is we're looking at the percentage that met or exceeded. So if I look at all students, I had 59% hit that magic target that the state has set. And then out of those 59, I had 15% of those students exceed. And so I have a score of 74 for that category. And so I do that for all 9 areas that are calculated for Goose Creek. So when I look at each of those categories, and I can get a total of 200 points, a point for met or exceeded and a point for exceeded for every child, I have a domain score of 37. So what does that mean? For us, that would be a C. And so within domain 2, that's our score. And then you have another target when we look at Petery Highland. We've got our high schools. And what I did was I showed each high school their calculation. So for example, Impact only had 2 groups that were large enough to count, because you needed the 25 that met progress within each indicator, with GCM having 7 categories. So even within each campus, that can be very different. We've got our junior school scores. And again, we provided the categories that would count for domain 2. And then we have our elementary campuses, Alamo standing out, Carver through Harlem, with Crockett having an A, and Highlands L through Victoria Walker. So domain 3, just like index 3, is closing the performance gap. When we look at our index and we talk about closing the performance gap, we're not only looking at economically disadvantaged, but we're looking at our 2 lowest race or ethnicity groups. So it's really looking at closing the performance gap over 3 areas. When we look at domain 3, domain 3 only looks at economically disadvantaged. They have no interest in any of the race or ethnicity groups within this domain. So it is different from our index system. Also, when we look at our calculation, when we looked at the index system, they were looking at passing and final level 2. In this domain, we're looking at did I pass? Did I pass at the final level 2? And they've added, did I pass at level 3? And that's what they consider to be an actual score. Then they're going to give you a predicted score. And so they're going to tell you this is what you should have gotten based on your free and reduced population, and this was your real score. Now how did you do? What was that comparison like? So if we use the district as an example, we have 24,597 tests that were taken by students identified as economically disadvantaged. So when I look at those 24,000 exams, 67.8% of our students passed. 33.2% passed at final level 2, and 9.9% passed at final or level 3. So my domain 3 actual score is going to be a 37, very similar to domain 1. Then they give us this wonderful formula that they came up with, and you're going to see in the parentheses the 64. that is our free and reduced population. We have 64% of our population is economically disadvantaged. So when I plug in our economically disadvantaged rate, we are predicted to get a score of 35.9. The great thing is we have a score of 37. So we outperformed what the state would expect from us. So what happens to that? Well, I take 37, I subtract 35.9, and I have 1.1. But even though I outperformed the state, that gives me a letter of a C. So the state wanted me to outperform 7 points or more to be able to get an A. We have the same thing for our alternative campus. Again, the formula changed. New formula because it's a new type of campus, and then we plug in our free and reduced. You're going to see the same thing for the high schools, except a high school had to outperform by 12.5, where the district only had to outperform by 7.0. And then we gave them their calculations, and you're going to notice the predicted changes for each campus based on their free and reduced. And then you've got the same thing for junior school. And we've got our elementaries. So domain 4, just like our index system, is our post-secondary readiness. And what we look at within the index system for elementaries and junior highs, we're looking more at the final level 2, and for our high schools, we're looking at graduation rate, graduation plan, and my college and career ready. But when I look at post-secondary readiness for an elementary in the domains, it is solely based on chronic absenteeism. And that is how we're going to determine our rating on if our children are post-secondary ready. When I look at a junior school or junior high, I'm looking at chronic absenteeism again and dropout rate. When I look at high school in the district, that's probably the most aligned to the index system, and that is graduation rate, college and career ready graduates based on 14-15 data, and our graduation plan rate. Then the state went ahead and defined chronic absenteeism for us. So the first thing we do is we identify students who are considered non-mobile. So they have to have been enrolled in our school at least 83% of the year to count. Then what they're going to look at is they have to have attended at least, or they could not have missed more than 10% of the school year. So if I have 169 days and I was here and enrolled the entire year, then I can only miss 16.9, and then I'm considered chronically absent. If I'm here 83% of the school year, then my number changes based on that. So we looked at the district calculation, and again, you're going to see all of the subpopulations that count for Goose Creek. So when we look at our graduation rate, which when we presented our taper report, we were above the state and above the region in our percentages. The graduation rate is going to count 28.6% of the overall score. We also outperform the state within our graduation plans, our students graduating with the recommended or the distinguished plan. That counts 14.3% of the final overall score. The one that we did not outperform the state in is our college and career ready graduates, and that is something that we will be focusing on, and that counts 57.1% of the final. So when I look at our average, which was 89.6, 59.5, and 88.9, I do my conversions based on the percentage that it counts. Out of 100 points, we earned 72.2. So typical teacher is going to say a 72.2 is a C. Well, when we look at a 72.2 for the domain, that's going to be an F. So we missed that by 0.8 to get the D. So it's very difficult for somebody to interpret, you know, I outperformed what they predicted, but I'm a C. Or I hit 72 out of a 100-point scale, and I'm going to be an F. And then you're going to see our Peter E. Highland campus. And what we did was we provided their percentages so they can see how it was calculated for each campus. We've got our high school targets, and we gave them each calculation. And we've got our junior schools. Now remember, junior school was chronic absenteeism and dropout. And so that's what we've got to focus on with the junior schools. And we gave them what their percentage was for chronic absenteeism, which was the first percentage, and dropout rate, which was the second for them. And then you've got elementaries. And this is fun because for an elementary to get an A, you had to have 98 out of 100%. And to get a B, you had to have a 96, and to get a C, a 93, and so forth. And so you've got each of the elementary campuses that we provided. Now, Domain 5. There is no letter grade at this point because that's a part of the accountability scorecard. And that's where we self-report if we're exemplary, if we're recognized, if we're acceptable within the 9 domains that they've provided. And we have not submitted that data, so they have not given us a letter grade. So if you're missing one of the domains, they're also not going to provide an overall grade at this point. So all we have are domains 1 through 4. Then within your presentation, we provided where each campus falls. And what we did was we provided the district at the bottom of each level so we can kind of see that comparison for our campuses.
And just to be clear on the difference between the domains, Dr. Dorte, is some domains have a fixed percentage that you must attain to get a letter grade, and others have floating percentages based upon the student makeup of each campus and each district across the state. Is that correct?
That is correct. And when they analyze the data tables, because the state provided, okay, what percentages hit within each domain for districts and campuses, some of the highlights that Mo Casey pointed out was campuses that have low percentages of economically disadvantaged students, they have between 0 and 20%, received mostly A's. When campuses that have higher percentages of economically disadvantaged students, 60 to 80, 80 to 100, tended to receive the D's and the F's within the domains. Again, we had C's, but we fell within that category. So the concern is, are you evaluating unlike campuses and districts on a standard that might not be equitable to be able to say one district's an F or a C or an A? So we're expecting there to be quite a bit of discussion in regards to district and campus makeup and the alignment of the grades.
And the other variable being that most citizens perceive an A through F report card as a 100-point scale. And these are not based on 100-point scales. Some of the variables were from an A to an F was as little as 14 points, and then others were 25 to 30 points between that scale. And as we know on the 100-point scale, a 100 to a 70, for example, is 30 points, but to a 60 is, and it's just not the same scale. So it's a conversion process. And the question begs for us is who set the cut lines? And we don't know the answer to that because we were not involved in that.
I know we probably all have some opinions and some comments we'd like to make, and I'd like to start for the board, for myself. First off, I would like to thank the state for simplifying the accountability system because it is so easy to understand. And I say that with tongue in cheek for those people that don't get my sarcasm, okay? One question I would have before I give my comment is, which was the one category we didn't count in of the 9 out of 10 in Domain 2? You said we were counted in 9 out of 10. Which one do we not count in?
It's Pacific Islander. Pacific Islander.
Pacific Islander. We just need a few more Hawaiian students next year. Okay. All right. I want to take a minute to give my point of view of this system. Okay. I do not feel that a single A through F grade is the best way to determine the performance of our district and our campuses individually. These are arbitrary letter grades. They're not indicative of the wonderful things our teachers accomplish every day in our classrooms. The new system is heavily reliant on the STAR system that has not been verified as a reliable method of determining student learning. Our board has previously passed a resolution urging the state to either revoke this legislation or at least delay its implementation until the system has input from actual educators. The targets used to determine the letter grades were arbitrarily determined, some of which, such as student attendance, are indicators that the schools and the school district have no control over. We can't go get the kid out of bed in the morning to make sure we get 98% attendance. Also, this system does not provide a fair and equitable way to compare districts, as each district has unique populations and challenges that should be considered in determining effectiveness. And I, as an individual citizen, will continue to contact my legislature about this A through F farce of a system that they have put in place. I did notice today, and I don't know if anyone else has, that a state representative has filed a counter bill to reject the A through F system and go back to the exemplary, need to recognize these improvement, that system that we were under before, that we kind of understood. At least the parents knew you weren't a straight A student, but you were better than most people. And that's what we need to do. This is not a simple system. I sat here when I got this last week, and I'm a math major, and I got so confused by the numbers. Like, you're going to take our percentage of free and reduced and multiply it by 0.11556. Where did that number come from? It is arbitrary, capricious, and it's not fair to the public school system of the state of Texas. That's my soapbox. I'll open the floor to any other board members that would like to comment or ask questions.
I think you took all our comments.
I was going to say, how can they follow that?
I find it interesting that they choose to do elementaries by chronic absenteeism a year after they got rid of the truancy law.
That was one of my points.
It's an interesting piece.
Exactly.
Not questioning whether we needed the truancy law, but it's interesting that they decided to use that when they got rid of the piece. There's also, I mean, a lot of it can be done with coding. It relies on how you code your coherent sequence courses. If you read it one way, you read it another way. I know Deer Park and Goose Creek both code it the same way and both receive the same grade for Domain 4. We believe we actually, so there's so much has to be done that it's like, farce is a good word. I'm trying to think of something else, but I mean, I can speak for myself. I assume I speak for the board at times, but and administrators, there's no one up here that wants to not be held accountable. But we want to be held accountable to a system that's fair and equitable and makes sense. Apparently, that's asking too much. So, but I look forward to the legislature, TEA, whomever, and I know they're getting a lot of feedback from administrators and school boards on making it make sense. Because right now, all they've simplified is just the grade. If parents knew what was behind that grade, they would shred it up and wouldn't pay attention to it. So, with that being said, I appreciate Mr. Shard, your words, and definitely support you in those words, and think that we have some opportunities to improve, but just keep doing the great job that you're doing. Keep focusing on the path you're on, but don't let this steer you in any different direction.
I certainly think this sends an invalid message to the parents and to the students, and certainly makes the students concerned about their school when their school doesn't get a great grade, and then they think, well, I go to a bad school, and so I hate to see that happen to the students.
We had a presentation at the school district where I worked at in regards to POCs. They had all the teachers at this gigantic church, 2 sessions. And the gentleman that spoke was a gentleman named Mike Matos with POCs and stuff. And he was talking about how the state in Texas requires so much of teachers and so much that it's not humanly possible for everybody to be able to perform at the level they required. Is not possible for teachers to be able to teach at that level, for kids to understand. But yet we require our teachers to do that. And it's true. Knowing that, You know, the only thing I'm going to ask is you as administrators to remember that just like you're getting the pushback from the public, because the public is speaking. You know, if you read it on Facebook, if you read it on social media, they're speaking. And of course, they look at the accountability, they hit the panic system. And you know, I've had several teachers come up to me and say, you know, we're trying the best we can. And I say, you know, you're preaching to the choir. I understand. But just like they feel, like we feel right now, and I know how we feel. Because whether we know this is accurate or not, it's still a little embarrassing, and I'm glad everybody left, you know, kind of, because to see these up there, if you don't know, and even if you explain it, you're still looking at a letter grade. It's kind of like when your kid brings it home. And I think it's important to understand why the state is doing this. And I'm just going to urge the public, and I know there's somebody here from the paper, to continue to talk to your legislature, because we cannot allow our schools to be taking hostage just to pass a voucher system. And I feel that this is really what this whole argument is about. So please contact, and tell your friends and your family to contact our legislators.
I don't know if some of us, everybody realizes it, but this is the 5th accountability system that we're held to every single year. If you think about it, you've got Met Standard and Required Improvement, your index system. Then you have the PEG system, where it looks at every single content area, and did I hit that 51? Then you've got the campuses that are identified as focus and priority schools. And so we look at, so the state emphasizes within each one. You've got your accountability scorecards. Now you've got your domain system with your letters. You know, let a district focus on one. It's about improved student progress and their attainment of academics. And so, you know, bombarding you with 5 different systems and trying to keep track of, you know, which one you're leaning towards seems pretty silly.
Well, that way they can at least get one system that gets you.
That's true.
That's really what it boils down to. I mean, it's.
Well, I introduced Dr. Duarte by saying this is not our report card. This is legislature's proposal for what it might look like a year from now. And it does beg the question, is there an ulterior motive? And I won't go beyond that in my comments, but...
why would they release it right before the legislature starts?
There we go.
I liked our little paper we got where it says at the bottom, the state's revenue outlook does not bode well for those hoping for an increase in appropriations for education session.
Mr. O'Brien, I appreciate your letter to the legislature that was printed in the Baytown Sun this morning. I think that was, yes, certainly
Thank
very
you.
well written.
We're trying to reach out. We'll go to Austin. We'll stand on the floor. Our voices will be heard. The good thing from my perspective is I go to Region 4 and with 40, 50 other superintendents, and we're all feeling the exact same way. Even those school districts that may have fared better than we do, they feel like this is capricious. This is not a fair representation of what we do each and every day for our kiddos and for our students and our teachers. Thank you.
Okay. I think we've had our say. Thank you, Dr. Duarte. Okay. All right. Let's move on to our action items. We have a consent agenda to consider. Mr. O'Brien.
All right. This evening we have for consent, number 1, change order number 1 is submitted by and to amend the contract with Firetron, Inc. to perform renovations to life safety systems at various district facilities. Number 2, change order number 1 is submitted by and to amend the contract with Prime Contractors, Inc. to perform upgrades to mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems at various district facilities. MEP bid package number 2. Number 3, construction manager at risk. CMAR evaluation rankings and selection of. Delegate authority to the superintendent designee to negotiate and to approve the contract with Comex Corporation for the construction of facility condition assessment, FCA renovations, repairs, and upgrades at district-wide facilities. Number 4, delegation of authority to negotiate prices and award requests for proposal, RFPs, for the procurement of electricity. Number 5, first option to extend competitive seal proposals, CSPs for maintenance and building supplies. Number 6, 5 additional slots at Shiloh Treatment Center and Hunting Bioachievement Center for the remainder of the 2016-17 school year. Number 7, disaffiliate from Victoria Walker Elementary PTO. Number 8, superintendent to negotiate a contract for acquisition of property adjoining the Point campus Number 9, canceling the March 27th, 2017 regular board meeting and adding a regular board meeting on March 20th. And number 10, superintendent expenditures. And I may just note, I know you've had time to review it, but we are getting refunds on some of those change orders. Excited anytime that happens.
Okay, are there any of these 10 consent items that you would like to pull?
I'd like to pull number 9.
Okay. Any others? All right. Seek motion.
Move to approve consent agenda items 1 through 8 and 10.
A second.
We have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Ms. Cockrell to approve consent agenda items 1 through 8 and number 10. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. That motion passes 6 in the affirmative. We have 1 absent. Number 9, the canceling of the meeting.
My question really is, I was just thinking of the school district here. We have a meeting scheduled on March 27th that we're asking to move to March the 20th, which is the Monday after spring break, and we'll have met the Monday prior to spring break. So my understanding would be we would have really only a week in turnaround on the district level, and that was my concern.
So I believe in a previous board meeting, we canceled the first meeting in March. Right. So this would end up being the only meeting in March on the 20th. And it would be noticed to us as administrative team to have all of our documents ready prior to spring break for the meeting on that Monday night returning.
So our March meetings would have been the 13th and the 27th, and at the previous board meeting, we canceled the 13th because it's during spring break.
Okay.
And not knowing that the 27th would actually be during a conference period.
Right. So I understand that. I had forgotten about the previous being in spring break.
Is there any date available besides the 20th? Because I have a board meeting that night at Deer Park. That's why I'm glad you pulled it.
I would be available. I have a conflict, but I was just going to skip my conflict. But I would be available like the 20 after the conference. I would be able be available on the 28th.
27th. It's the 27th. That's the one we'd be dropping.
Right. So like 28th or the 21st, I think, either one.
So the 21st is a Tuesday?
Yes, I don't want to speak out of turn because it's a long ways. I was hoping to still be in it.
Yeah,
so the 20th would be perfect with me.
Okay. My question on the 27th is, there's nothing wrong with the 27th. It was just that we felt that if we moved it to the 20th, we'd get one kind of more in the middle of the month than waiting till the very end of the month.
Well, the 20th is during the school board conference, isn't it?
Well, the 27th is.
I'm sorry, the 27th.
Right. Everyone would be just coming back unless they came back early. Okay. So we may have trouble getting a quorum on the 27th. I don't know. So would a discussion item be to talk about maybe having that meeting instead of on the 27th is the only concern with the 20th being it's the day back from spring break?
No, it's conflict for 2 board members is what I heard.
On the 20th?
Yeah, I have a Deer Park board meeting.
So the 21st may be a possibility.
But again, we'd be on Mr. Laredo's schedule. That 20, I know Tuesdays are bad for Mr. Laredo.
What about Thursday?
I think Thursday would probably be a better alternative to a board meeting other than
Thursday would
Tuesday.
be good.
Hmm?
Thursday would be good.
So are we looking at the 23rd then? Is that what you're looking at?
I would think so. It's more toward the middle of the
Middle
month.
of the month.
I have a conflict.
You do have a conflict on the 23rd?
But you have one.
Okay.
I do have a conflict that day.
I have a class that night.
We have CBAC.
Mr. Poppy has a conflict.
CBAC that meeting that day, but it'd be over at about 5:30.
Well, we can leave it on the 20th. I can skip my conflict, but I know Mr. Poppy has a conflict.
I'm going to leave it we can leave it on the 27th and see if we can get a quorum.
How many people?
It's scheduled on the 27th now.
How many people do we have?
3.
That would be coming back that day? 3?
Well, 3 are going,
Uh-huh.
if I understand. Is that correct, Noemi? And myself.
sounds like that's an issue.
Yeah, I missed that email, my fault.
Well, as it is now, we have a meeting scheduled on the 27th. We have a meeting scheduled there. Okay? So we have no motion on the table at this time, other than that's a consideration number 9. We have, that motion's not been, no motion has been made to either change the 27th with an alternative or meet on the 27th. So if we don't get a motion to do something, we meet on the 27th because it's already been on the schedule.
We have 2 more meetings to cover that between now and then as well, if someone's calendar should adjust or change.
Please, I'll make a motion that we meet on the 23rd. I'll see if I can change mine around.
I'm sorry, what date? On
the 23rd.
Okay. The motion?
Wait, did you have something also?
I won't be here. I can't do Tuesdays or Thursdays.
I have class that night, but if I know it in advance, I can make arrangements. I have a former superintendent as my professor this semester, so I'm sure he'll be able to understand.
But Ms. Cockrell can't make it.
I can't do Tuesdays or Thursdays.
22nd.
It's my birthday.
All right. We have no second yet, so well, we have a motion to meet on the 23rd. Do I have a second? Okay. You'd like to amend your motion?
Yes.
Okay.
To the.
That's a birthday.
I've been here on my birthday.
I know.
We'll sing happy birthday.
Okay.
Did we already look at the 21st?
That's Tuesday.
They come back on the 27th, the 23rd.
How many conflicts do we have on the 20th? Mr. Poppy?
Just 2.
And me, and I'll forgo mine. If it's that or the 22nd.
Just leave
I'll
on the
amend my
recommended.
motion for the 20th.
Okay. Well,
Which
Isn't that what it was?
which is the consent agenda.
That's
Then, if your motion is going to be that, it's your move. You need to move on item number 9 on the consent agenda.
I'd like to amend my motion to item number 9, whatever the
On the consent
rule
agenda.
is.
To approve item number 9?
Yes, please.
All right. I have a motion from Mr. Laredo.
Second.
I have a motion from Mr. Laredo, a second from Ms. Coffey, to approve item number 9 on the consent agenda to cancel the March 27th meeting and add a regular board meeting on March 20th. Is there any discussion?
I would just want to know what time we should show up for cake on the 22nd.
Have to talk to Don about that. I'm not baking it.
Okay. All in favor of meeting on March 20th, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstain? Okay. That motion will carry 5 in the affirmative, 1 abstention, and 1 absent. Thank you. All right. Future board agenda items and board training. Just to remind a couple of reminders to everybody that I've got written here so I don't forget them. We do have a board workshop this Wednesday evening, starting at 6:30.
This Wednesday?
It's next Wednesday.
It's next Wednesday?
The 18th.
18th. Come on,
18th.
Yes.
Yes, the 18th. Reminder, we have a meeting on the workshop on the 18th. And also, I just wanted to remind everybody about professional development opportunity that Mr. O'Brien has extended to us in San Antonio on February 17th, 18th, and 19th. If you are interested in that, please contact Mr. O'Brien or Ms. Garcia. Okay. Those were the 2 things I had for that portion. Okay. Any future agenda items?
I have one. On August the 1st, Lee College is going to have to allow concealed weapons on their campus. And a college can designate certain areas as safe zones. So, for example, Texas A&M has some campuses that they've designated as safe zones because of the presence of elementary age school children. On January the 26th, which is after our next board meeting, Lee College is meeting with the Texas Association of Community Colleges to develop what their concealed handgun policy is going to be. So my request is that at our next board meeting, We have a resolution communicating our desire to Lee College for our students, our Impact Early College high school students, to be taken into consideration when they develop their policy. The high school currently, all of our schools, are gun-free zones by both state and federal law, and I don't think our students should lose their protection because they cross Lee Drive and go to Lee College. So I would like us to have a resolution letting Lee College know that.
Regarding the welfare of the Goose Creek ISD students that take advantage of Lee College.
Right, the Impact Early College high school students
Okay.
in particular.
Okay. All right. We'll let Mr. O'Brien get that resolution
Will do.
drawn up. Anything else?
And that's for the February 13th?
No, it is for our next meeting in January.
Next board meeting.
I'm sorry?
Next board meeting.
Which is the
It'd be 2 weeks from today, wouldn't it?
23rd,
2 weeks from today.
which will be a few days before
The
Lee College.
Lee College has to address
Board of
that.
Regent meeting, okay?
It's not the Board of Regents, it's Lee College meeting with other community colleges to develop their community
EACC,
college.
okay.
Last call. All right. We will now move into closed meeting. The board will now recess into a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act. These are Texas Government Code 551071, 551072, 551073, 551074, 551075, 551076, 551082, 551083, 551084, 551087. No action will be taken while the board is in closed meeting. Reiterate that no action was taken by the board while we were in closed session. Moving on our agenda, we are now at item E, consideration of personnel, elections and resignations. Mr. O'Brien.
Administration would recommend that the board accept the elections and resignations as presented.
Move to approve.
A second.
We have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Ms. Cockrell to approve elections and resignations as presented under separate packet. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by raising your right hand. That motion carries 6 in the affirmative, 1 absent.
We do have one administrative recommendation for speech pathologist assistant, Leslie Chase.
Move to approve.
A second.
Motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Ms. Cockrell to approve Leslie Chase as speech pathologist assistant in the district. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries 6 in the affirmative, 1 absent. And final, we have adjournment on the agenda.
I move we adjourn our meeting.
A second.
I have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Ms. Cockrell to adjourn tonight's meeting. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 6 in the affirmative. We are adjourned.
12 and 8.
Oh, okay.
8-2.